All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 572 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Valler. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today is going to be an interesting show. It's going to be a very interesting show. We're going to introduce ourselves to Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Smith. He is not a player, but he is the vice president of player personnel. I found this press conference that the Falcons put out very, very interesting, because he breaks down and talk about the players that they drafted in the latest 2023 draft. But it's not going to be, this episode is not going to be about those players. We just got finished talking about all those players. There was a question that was asked of Kyle Smith about Desmond Ridder. And this really, it really piqued my interest about how they really feel about Desmond Ridder, because you hear vague things about, any player from Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot. They talk about people that's on the team in a broad sense. They don't really jump out and really explain certain things when it comes to players. They'll it's kind of basically like coach talk. But when you hear this from a guy like Kyle Smith, which I think this guy's phenomenal, I think he's going to be up there at a higher level in the front office someday, because the way he talks and the way he explains things and the way he breaks down positions as far as evaluating and scouting players is absolutely phenomenal. I can listen to this guy all day. And I'm going to go through this clip that he had of Desmond Ridder, and I'm going to have the link to the actual the press conference down in the description. I know I haven't been the best at that. I've been slacking on that, but I promise you, the link will be down in the description so you can check out this press conference, because I found this very, very interesting. So we're going to talk about all of that. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. I'm also on YouTube and Rumble. And if you want to check out the website, it's firstandframerates.com. I really appreciate you guys for the support, and the continued support does help this show go a long way. So you can check out all those avenues. I'm also on Twitter. Over there, I talk about things that don't make it to the show. All right, let's go ahead and get into this, because I'm sitting here looking at it on the screen, and this is about a 28-minute press conference, but around the 4:20, 4:30 mark, this question was asked, and the question that was asked, Kyle Smith, he answered it perfectly. I think he answered it to a way where it was really explained why Desmond Ridder was picked last year. Like I said, we know about the draft this year and everything, but we haven't really got a good answer on the whole situation with Desmond Ridder. And the more you think about it, and I kind of saw it, but when you hear it, you kind of solidify your thoughts if you really, really are in tune with what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and we'll just dissect it from there once we hear it, and I'll come back with my commentary.
And one more thing, a couple of years ago, the franchise decided not to spend a pick in the first round on a quarterback. Eventually, you guys took Desmond Ridder in the third round a year ago. I'm just curious what you saw in Ridder that prompted you to make that pick.
Yeah. With Desmond, really excited about Desmond moving forward, and what he did at the end of the year and getting some of that experience at the back half of the year there. But with Dez, it was number one. The thing that sticks out is it's the leadership, the wiring. As you guys know, at that position, there's a lot of different skill sets. There's a lot of different physical attributes that you have to play the position. But what separates a lot of players is it's from the neck up, and not just from an intelligence perspective. It's from how you face adversity, how you're wired, your toughness, your mindset, all those things. And he has all those. You know what I mean? So once you have those at that position, now you're interested in the skill set. And when you watch his tape, he's got good arm strength. He's got accuracy. He can get out of the pocket. So he's got all those things. There's things he needs to work on, right? He needs to get better, as all of our players. But those were the things that kind of jumped out right away, were the intangible pieces along with the physical skills to develop. But if you don't have that neck up, it's really hard. It's really hard in this league, and he's got it neck up.
Excellent answer. And the reason why I say it's an excellent answer, because a lot of people don't realize. I mean, a lot of people just don't want to realize, especially after what the whole situation with Michael Vick. I thought they would learn this when Matt Ryan got here, that, 90, probably like 95, you can even make a case about 98% of the quarterback position is mental. And he talked about what Desmond has from the neck up, what he understands, what he sees, what he realizes, what he's learning, what he's grabbing, what they're trying to teach him. And I think the quarterback coach last year kind of alluded to this as well, where Desmond Ridder was coming along so well as far as them training him the way they want their quarterback to be. It's one of the reasons why they kept Marcus Mariota in for so long, because they wanted him to continue to learn. And by the time at the end of the season, and there's some people out there trying to rag on his play from the end of the last season, but I thought it was a fairly solid outing. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't throw for too many yards. He was very cautious, but he played very smart. There are some plays where you saw some rookie mistakes, but for the most part, he played very smart. And I think this is one of the things that, Kyle Smith is talking about here. And when you bring that along and you know that he can play the physical side of the quarterback position, you're going to have a fairly, special player. Now, when you look at a guy like Desmond Ridder and you talk about other quarterbacks, like we all talk about the physical attributes. You all think about the physical. No, some of the best quarterbacks are all about the mental game. You look at Tom Brady, you look at Aaron Rodgers, and people say Aaron Rodgers is a pretty physical type of a quarterback because he can move a little bit. But most of that stuff he does is mental and arm talent. But it's mostly mental. Don't get it twisted. You look at a lot of these other guys that are out here that are actually doing it, and they're actually playing the game fairly well. And you go back and look at other guys who don't have that mental makeup, or one's mental makeup was questioned, like a Kyler Murray, or you look at other players that was in that same realm. You can make a case for even with Michael Vick, as talented he was. He didn't have the mental makeup, and he would tell you himself that he did not have that type of mindset. And I know some people may not want to hear this, but you can make a case for with the situation with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is extremely talented. He made MVP or whatever the case may be. But sometimes he made some mental mistakes that really hindered his growth or how far his team could have went in the playoffs. There's other guys that are out there. I mean, the list goes on and on with the ones who has the mental makeup and who don't. And when you have that mental makeup and you can get this person that's playing your quarterback, that's going to be quarterback for your team, get him instilled in the philosophy that you're trying to run, and you turn around and flip that to the physical attributes that you already have, you're going to have a special player. You also have to understand that Desmond Ridder was one of these guys that was kind of supposed to go like in the late first round, early second round. He ended up dropping because of the fact that not too many teams needed a quarterback at the time. And I always thought the Falcons were going to get him in the early second round. I thought but that was the Arnold Ebiketie pick. What was it? Yeah, I think it was an Arnold Ebiketie pick. Ended up getting, Dez in the third round, where you kind of almost got early second round talent, because a lot of people want to talk down on what Desmond Ridder can and can't do, but I see some potential there to where he, basically was slotted to be like a second round quarterback. I mean, nobody's going to make the case and say he was going to be the first round quarterback. I didn't never thought that because, first of all, he came from a group of 5 school and the talent level wasn't all the way there. But at the same time, he competed with high level talent in a pretty decent way. So you saw the potential there for him to possibly get into the first round. He ended up dropping to the third, and that was very good value for the Falcons. And with that being said, they're going to be able to do some things with him with all this talent around Desmond Ridder. And then he also alluded to in the press conference about the talent that's on the team and the draft picks that the Falcons picked up. It all just makes sense. You understand the player that you got that's going to be your QB1. And not only that you throw him out there to play the position, you give him a lot of weapons. The Bijan Robinsons all the way up to Cordell Patterson or the Kyle Pitts. Everybody that's going to be ball catchers on this team. Everybody that's on a skill set can catch the football. And you got a couple of guys that can run the football, maybe 3 guys that can run the football. So Desmond Ridder is in really good hands. And for him, he's in a really good position. And I feel like he's in good hands with this front office. And the way they speak and think highly of him is very, very interesting, to say the least. I feel that we got an absolute steal with Desmond Ridder. When he immediately got picked in the 3rd round and I saw the Falcons pick him up, I was like, okay, we got something here, because we finally got the quarterback. I kind of thought he was going to be starting earlier, but they found a way to keep him, in the books of what they want out of a quarterback all the way up to like week, 13. And you really couldn't ask for more than that. Now, I know a lot of people are probably a little upset because the fact that we don't have we don't have Lamar Jackson, or we don't have Jalen Carter. But when you really go back and listen to this particular press conference, you're going to understand, like, wait a minute, this is different. This is not Thomas Dimitroff. This is not the Dan Quinn era. These guys are talking some real stuff. They're talking some real football. They're talking about real X's and O's and the makeup of a player and the type of players you want on the team, as far as, the character of a player, the potential of a player, the floor and the ceiling of a player. You'll hear all of that if you go back and listen to this press conference. I thought it was phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But this part of the press conference stuck out, what he said about Desmond Ridder, because this is the guy that's going to be running his team. He's going to be the leader of the team, at least on the offense, for the next few years. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm tripping? You think I'm bugging once again? What do you make of what Mr. Kyle Smith said? I think he's on to something. I think he's putting us on game, letting us know what time it is when it comes to Desmond Ridder. Because as much as you talk about all the other things that we've done, from the Bijan Robinsons all the way up to the safety that we picked, Hellman, the guy that we picked in the 7th round, we got a pretty good nucleus. We got a pretty good team that's put together by the likes of, Mr. Smith and Terry Fontenot, Arthur Smith, and, everybody else that's collectively under that umbrella. We're doing some really good things. Let me know what you guys think. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Give me a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast Avenue if you haven't already. I also have a website, which is firstandframerates.com. Go ahead and check that out. That is the hub of the podcast and everything under that umbrella. Also, I could be found on Twitter, where I talk about things that don't make it into the show. A little bit of extra stuff here and there. Give me a follow if you don't mind. I am getting up out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully you have a great Thursday. All right, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.